Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today's video is going to be solely just my thoughts on how the games went, how the presentation for the game was, kind of a mix of a different video that I made as far as how the Berrics handled the presentation on this, but more so just personal thoughts. This is going to be a video that probably a lot of people will consider a hater video because I will be kind of breaking down little moments here and there. There will be some positive, some negative, but as far as being a critic, you have to be able to take the good and the bad, and you have to be able to take constructive criticism well in order to be able to grow and to do better. So I have a long list of notes, so I will be unfortunately looking at my computer a lot, kind of reading them because I'm doing probably about 6 different videos for this channel and for my other channel today, so there's a lot of things that are on my mind. I don't want to be able to try to toggle between the two and forget any information, so I'll be reading off my computer for a lot of this. Women's Battle of the Berrics going into the finals. I still stand by the video that I made about the injustice for the Berrics handling the Women's Battle of the Berrics, because I think they really did a disservice to women for Battle of the Berrics this year. And again, just like in the last video, I will correct myself. I was not aware because I do not use my Instagram much at all. I do have one, but I've been kind of just really laying low as far as social media. I wasn't aware that they had a contest to be able to submit your own footage since April. I was not aware of that. So I thought it was just submit within like a week or two. They contact you, talk about it, blah, blah, blah. But no, it was from April, which means it's actually even worse than trying to get everything done like this. They had such a long lead time to be able to get things done, and unfortunately they failed. And it created a lot of different announcements needing to be made for a lot of the women that were a part of it. So with that being said, with such a long lead time, how are they trying to get this contest up and running with so many schedule conflicts? This is one that should have been done a year in advance. And like I said, it just led to a lot of different complications. I mean, a lot of women went into the series with hurt ankles. 3 ended up not being able to compete because Leticia got hurt. I thought her announcement was that she was already celebrating early her victory.
To take the lead. A humongous celebration right down there on the sidelines. Aori still has to go. She's looking for her first ever SLS win. She wants to be the world champion. She needs an 8.5 to do it. What is she going to do? We're about to find out. Here.
And to see her throw her board, that would be great for her. Just great publicity, right? Christiana was going to participate in the SEA Games.
After my first 2 rounds with Chelsea and then Monica, super stoked made it through, but I joined the Philippines Olympic team early this year in January. Found out that I have a contest like landing on the exact same day as the finals going on for Battle of the Berrics. I will be in the Philippines doing SEA Games, which is kind of like the Asian Olympics over there. So it's just coincidence that both lined up. So since the circumstance of conflicting dates, I decided to have Chelsea and Monica go against each other and ref it and see how it goes and give one of these girls another chance for the finals.
And Candy got injured maybe 2 weeks prior to finals night.
What's up, guys? First of all, I would like to say thank you to the Berrics for having me a part of this amazing journey. Unfortunately, I got injured during a contest in Rio, so I won't be able to make it.
Because, as you saw from Lacey, you saw from Monica, and you saw from Alexis, they all had, you know, the Thursday night before finals night, the Wednesday night, the Monday night, or whatever, and then they had the slow-mos. Candy had none of that. So it had to be at least 2 weeks lead time for her when it came to getting ready for finals night. So I can only imagine she got hurt early. She tried to see if her ankle would be better in time for the games, and then they made a last-second announcement to be able to say, you know what, my ankle's not better. Let's just give someone else a chance to get back into it. Two of the women ended up actually competing in SEA Games, and that was Margie and Christiana. And I think Margie knew way earlier than Christiana did, and that's why she, in my opinion, she 86'd herself from the whole contest. She's a great skater. She had great energy, and I loved her style. But I think in the end, it was more important for her and Christiana to be able to compete in SEA Games to get the success of that versus Women's Battle of the Berrics. That would probably be able to give them a lot more as far as different opportunities and a lot of different successes to follow suit than it would be for just winning Women's Battle of the Berrics. With half the competitors of the last Battle of the Berrics, they had a lot of announcements. They actually had as many, if not more, announcements, a lot of injuries. And unfortunately, it just led to a downfall of quality as far as the games, as far as keeping people on track to be able to compete. And just, I mean, they had redemption games, but they didn't compete in the finals. They had redemption games. I remember watching Jimmy Carlin and Greg Lutzka compete. It was just a redemption bracket, which was cool. It was kind of a cool warm-up. But we'll get into that game for Jen and Alexis in just a moment. When looking at it, it was kind of funny because Christiana actually had the best record going into the finals. She only, of both games, she only got one letter. And she got it against Chelsea, which to me is laughable because Chelsea, I watch her foot stances. Her tricks don't make sense. The things that she's trying to do, because there's so many. Her kickflip stance is just atrocious. Hate on me all you want, but if you want to see, there's my video part. So if you guys want to say, oh, well, why don't you put your footage up? There it is. Go watch it. Trust me. You'll see. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not saying I'm pro or anything. I'm saying that for all of you guys that are trying to be all, well, you're competing, or you're saying this against a girl, you're trying to compete your footage versus hers. Why don't you go look at her Instagram? Why am I going to go look at something edited for something that is, she's supposed to be consistent. You're put in the first Women's Battle of the Berrics because of your name. It's just like Hoon Coomer. You know, people loved him because he's on Instagram all the time, and that drew a lot of people to watch his game, to watch him get destroyed by a nobody by comparison. So it's just, it doesn't make sense to just only have name reference and not have the ability to back it up with skill. And I personally believe that the redemption game for her and Monica was not only to be able to give one of them a chance to get back in, but also just another chance to show that Chelsea actually can skate. Because, I mean, what did Vanessa Torres say about Chelsea?
Chelsea Castro, also flip wizardress. It's anyone's game here.
But when you watch this, she falls 5 out of the 6 tricks. And then she comes back with the redemption game against Monica, and so many of her tricks, there's a few of them that look decent, and then there's a lot of them that it's just, you could tell it just looks so uncomfortable. She doesn't look like she is able to even stay balanced very well. You know, she moves around a lot, and her foot stances again are just, how did that kickflip make sense? That's how I first kickflipped. And then I decided to put my foot on the board so I can slide it up and flick it. I don't get it. It might be a hater opinion. You guys can thumbs down probably for that, but it was another way to show that Chelsea actually can skate, because she was kind of the fall person in the series. Totally just because, I mean, when you look at even the guys Battle of the Berrics, you can tell who are supposed to be the fall people, the ones that are in there literally just to have fun while giving us a battle, and giving the people who win a chance to advance.
I'm not even in this to win. I just want to skate with my friends. But if I did win, like, I don't even know. I'm just like speechless. I don't even know what to do if I won.
You know, there's always fault people. I think Chelsea was that for this series. She was one of them. And it was ridiculous. And then, you know, Liv Lovelace was flown all the way from Australia and got annihilated. And she just looked so, I mean, she was just like Chelsea. She looked so uncomfortable. Her pop, or lack of it, and her flip speed not being up there, like a lot of her flip tricks just were not flipping fast. And that's what led to a lot of her tricks not even being able to be landed. And a lot of her foot stancing, I think the nervousness just totally got to her head and made her forget, oh, this is where my feet are supposed to go. Because, I mean, her tray flip stance was just terrible. Her impossible stance was just off. You know, her heel flip barely happened. And, you know, it took her a long time to land certain tricks, and it didn't work well for her. And even, you know, again, Vanessa Torres is...
Where are we at? Liv Lovelace, little flat ground ace from Australia.
It was ridiculous. It's funny because with stuff like that, it's funny because you build so much hype and you make it sound like this is going to be the greatest thing ever, which for women's skateboarding, it's a great thing.
This is going to be a sick first ever women's battle at the Berrics.
But you also have to be able to back it up. Like, you can't say that someone's a tech wizardress or a little ace on a board and then they get crushed. Like, you can't do that. You know, I'm glad that you were trying to support them, but you gotta be able to be realistic to a certain extent. I mean, and just even going to the finals,